What if I told you? Most people reveal who they are within the first 60 seconds? Not through their words, but through their reactions. When you disagree with them, when you ignore them, when you stay silent. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't need years to understand someone. You just need to know what to look for. And today, I'm going to show you 18 psychological truths inspired by Friedrich Nietzsche. Truths that expose human nature faster than conversation ever could. But be careful. Once you see these patterns, you can't unsee them. Nietzsche believed something powerful. People don't show their character in comfort. They show it in tension. Keycap 1. The mass principle. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who seemed perfect at first? Kind, supportive, loyal, until the situation changed? Until there was no benefit left? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't show you who they are. They show you who benefits them. They don't wear a mask to deceive you. They wear a mask to survive socially. Because human beings crave approval. They crave advantage. They crave positioning. So they adjust. Different tone with their boss. Different personality with their friends. Different energy around someone successful. But here's where it gets interesting. The real character appears when there is nothing to gain. No status. No attention. No reward. Watch how someone behaves. When you can't help them anymore, watch how they treat you. When you say no, watch how they act. When nobody important is watching, that's the moment the mask slips. And here's the psychological truth inspired by Friedrich Nietzsche. People perform virtue when it profits them, but character reveals itself in emptiness. Ask yourself, who stayed when you had nothing to offer? Who respected you when you disagreed? Who remained consistent when the spotlight disappeared? Because consistency without benefit, that's identity. And once you understand this principle, you stop falling for charm. You start observing patterns. Keycap 2. The overcompensation rule. Have you noticed this? The person who talks the most about being alpha usually needs you to believe it. The person who constantly reminds you how successful they are is trying to convince themselves. Here's the rule. The louder the confidence, the deeper the insecurity. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't scan the room for validation. But insecurity? Insecurity performs. It exaggerates stories. It inflates achievements. It dominates conversations. It name drops. It flexes constantly. Because exaggeration is armor. And armor is only worn when someone feels attacked. Ask yourself, why does someone need you to see them as powerful? Why repeat the same achievement 5 times? Why mock others to look superior? Because beneath the noise is fear. Fear of being ordinary. Fear of being invisible. Fear of not being enough. And here's where it becomes powerful for you. When someone is truly secure, they don't react to challenges emotionally. They don't over-explain. They don't over-promise. They don't overperform. They just act. As thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche observed about human nature, strength that needs constant recognition is not strength, it's hunger. So watch for exaggeration. Watch for volume. Watch for constant self-praise. Because sometimes the strongest signal is not the one making noise. It's the one that doesn't. Keycap 3. The reaction test. Let me give you a simple experiment. Lightly disagree with someone. Not aggressively. Not disrespectfully. Just calmly. Now watch. Because their reaction will tell you more than their resume ever could. This is the reaction test. Criticize lightly and observe. Do they pause and consider your point? Or do they interrupt? Do they ask questions? Or do they attack your character? Here's the rule. Calm equals secure. Explosive equals fragile. Strong ego doesn't mean arrogance. It means stability. It means someone can hear, I don't agree. Without hearing, you are worthless. But fragile egos, they interpret disagreement as disrespect. And the moment they feel challenged, their nervous system goes to war. Voice rises. Tone sharpens. Defensiveness appears. Sarcasm slips out. Because what you touched wasn't their opinion. It was their identity. And identity feels like survival. Think about it. If a small comment destroys someone's composure, what will happen when real pressure hits? As Friedrich Nietzsche often suggested in his understanding of human nature, strength is not proven in dominance. It's proven in restraint. So here's your advantage. Next time you meet someone new, don't try to impress them. Gently challenge them. Disagree once. Watch carefully, because in that single moment, you'll see their emotional maturity, their insecurity level, and their real power. And now ask yourself something deeper. When someone criticizes you, do you stay calm or do you explode? Because the reaction test works both ways. Keycap for the silence mirror. Let me show you something most people are afraid of. Silence. After someone finishes speaking, don't respond immediately. Just look at them. Stay calm. Hold eye contact. Say nothing. And watch what happens. This is the silence mirror, because silence creates pressure, and pressure makes truth leak. Most people are deeply uncomfortable with empty space, so they rush to fill it. They start explaining more, justifying more, revealing more. Sometimes they contradict themselves. Sometimes they confess insecurity. Sometimes they expose intention. Why? Because silence feels like judgment, and insecure minds panic in uncertainty. Confident people, however, they can sit in silence. They don't feel the need to perform. They don't feel the need to impress. They don't fear being misunderstood. But when someone keeps talking just to escape the pause, you're watching discomfort in real time. And discomfort reveals psychology. As thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche understood about human behavior, people reveal themselves most when they're trying not to. So try this. In your next conversation, don't rush to reply. Don't save them from the awkwardness. Let the silence stretch. Because the person who fears silence is often hiding something from themselves. And the person who is calm in silence, that's someone with inner stability. Now ask yourself something honest. When a room goes quiet, do you feel powerful or pressured? Because the silence mirror doesn't just expose others, it exposes you. Keycap 5, the status obsession clue. Pay attention to this carefully. What does someone brag about without being asked? Money, looks, intelligence, connections, status? Whatever they advertise the most is usually where they feel the least secure. This is the status obsession clue, because truly secure people don't need reminders of their value. They don't casually bring up their salary. They don't constantly mention who they know. They don't subtly flex their body, their grades, their achievements in every conversation. But someone who feels deficient, they overcompensate. They turn conversation into promotion. They redirect topics back to their strengths. They measure themselves through comparison. Why? Because the area they brag about is the area they're protecting. Think about it. If someone constantly says, "I'm smarter than most people," what are they afraid of? Being seen as average. If someone constantly talks about money, what are they afraid of? Being powerless. As observed in Reflections on Human Nature by Friedrich Nietzsche, humans create symbols of superiority to escape feelings of inferiority. So here's your advantage. Don't listen only to what people say proudly. Listen to repetition. Repetition reveals obsession, and obsession reveals insecurity. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. What do you brag about? Because the status obsession clue doesn't just read others, it reads you. Keycap 6, the eye contact indicator. Eyes don't lie, but they don't always tell the truth either. Here's what most people misunderstand about eye contact. Avoiding eye contact during random moments? That means nothing. But avoiding eye contact during specific topics? That's where it gets interesting. Watch carefully. When you bring up money, they look away. When you mention commitment, their eyes shift. When you question their story, their gaze breaks. That's not coincidence. That's discomfort. And discomfort usually points to one of two things: insecurity or concealment. Because when the brain feels threatened, it tries to escape. And sometimes the first thing that escapes is the eyes. But here's the twist. Forced eye contact can be just as revealing. Some people hold eye contact too intensely, unnaturally long, almost aggressive, unblinking. That's not confidence. That's performance. It's dominance acting. True confidence doesn't stare to intimidate. It connects. There's ease in it. There's softness in it. There's control without tension. As psychological thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche understood about power dynamics, the need to display strength often reveals the fear of lacking it. So here's your advantage. Don't just look at someone's eyes. Watch when they break contact. Watch when they overhold it. Watch the topic attached to the shift, because patterns around discomfort tell you where the truth lives. And now ask yourself something deeper. When someone questions you, do your eyes stay steady, or do they search for an escape? Because the eye contact indicator works both ways. Keycap 7, the humor reveal. Listen carefully to what people joke about. Not once, repeatedly, because humor is the safest way to confess without consequences. This is the humor reveal. Someone constantly jokes about being broke. Bro, I'm always poor. Funny? Maybe. Or maybe money insecurity is sitting underneath. Someone jokes about cheating, about trust issues, about not being good enough, about being toxic, about never settling down. Why turn it into comedy? Because laughter lowers defense. It lets them test your reaction without fully exposing themselves. If you laugh, they feel validated. If you question it, they say, relax, it's just a joke. But here's the truth. People rarely joke randomly. They joke around tension. They joke around fear. They joke around unresolved parts of themselves. As thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche observed about human nature, we disguise our vulnerabilities in socially acceptable forms, and humor is one of the most acceptable masks. So watch for repetition. What topic keeps returning as a joke? Because that's often the hidden insecurity. Now ask yourself something honest. What do you joke about the most? Your laziness? Your jealousy? Your fear of commitment? Your lack of discipline? Sometimes the punchline is the confession. And once you understand the humor reveal, you stop laughing blindly. You start listening carefully. Keycap 8, the victim pattern. Listen to how someone tells their story. Are they always the hero, or always the victim? Bad ex, toxic friends, jealous co-workers, unfair bosses. Everyone misunderstands me. Once, maybe, twice, possible. But every single time, that's a pattern. This is the victim pattern. If someone constantly blames others, they avoid responsibility. And responsibility is the foundation of growth. Pay attention to their language. It wasn't my fault. They made me do it. I had no choice. That's just how people are. Notice what's missing? Ownership. Because taking responsibility hurts the ego. Blaming others protects it. But here's the long-term danger. Someone who refuses accountability will repeat the same mistake with a different target. Today it's their ex. Tomorrow it's their boss. One day it could be you. As observers of human nature, like Friedrich Nietzsche suggested in their reflections on strength, growth requires confrontation with oneself, and weak minds avoid self-confrontation. Now here's the deeper psychological layer. Victim identity can become addictive. It brings sympathy. It brings attention. It removes pressure to improve, but also kills power. Because if everything is someone else's fault, you have no control. And no control means no growth. So watch for this carefully. When something goes wrong, ask them, what could you have done differently? If they pause and reflect, there's maturity. If they immediately defend and redirect, there's fragility. And now ask yourself something uncomfortable. When things go wrong in your life, do you look outward first or inward? Because the victim pattern doesn't just expose others, it exposes your future. Keycap 9, the energy shift rule. Watch this carefully. How does their energy change? When someone important walks into the room, voice becomes softer, posture becomes straighter, laugh becomes louder, attention becomes sharper. Now watch them with someone who has no status. The waiter, the quiet friend, the new employee. Does the warmth stay the same, or does it drop? This is the energy shift rule. People unconsciously reveal the hierarchy in their mind through energy shifts, because energy is honest. You can fake words, you can fake politeness, but your nervous system reacts differently to power, and that reaction leaks out. Some people become submissive around authority. Some become overly impressive. Some become dismissive toward those they see as lower. That tells you everything. It tells you how they measure value. It tells you how they rank humans. It tells you who they truly respect. As psychological observers like Friedrich Nietzsche explored in discussions of status and power, humans constantly calculate position, consciously or not. Now here's the dangerous part. If someone treats you amazingly when you're useful, but differently when you're not respected, you're evaluated. An evaluation changes with circumstance. So here's your advantage. Don't just observe how someone treats you. Observe how they treat others when nothing is to gain. Because consistency across status levels signals integrity. But energy that fluctuates with hierarchy, that signals strategy. Now ask yourself something honest. Does your energy change around people with more power than you? Because the energy shift rule works both ways. Key Cap 10, the micro-disrespect signal. Disrespect rarely announces itself. It whispers, a small interruption, a subtle eye roll, talking over you mid-sentence, checking their phone while you speak, laughing slightly before you finish your point. Individually, harmless. Repeatedly, a pattern. This is the micro-disrespect signal, because real respect is not shown in grand gestures. It's shown in micro-moments. Does someone let you finish? Do they acknowledge your idea? Do they listen without preparing their rebuttal? Or are they waiting for their turn to dominate? Here's the psychology behind it. When someone sees themselves as slightly superior, they don't feel the need to fully contain themselves. They interrupt. They override. They minimize. Not aggressively, just enough to establish subtle hierarchy. And most people ignore it. They laugh it off. They shrink slightly. They adjust their tone. But over time, those micro moments train the dynamic. Because every interruption you tolerate lowers your perceived authority. As thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche understood about power, hierarchy isn't declared. It's established through behavior. So here's your advantage. Start noticing patterns. One interruption, human. Constant interruption, signal. One joke at your expense, social play. Repeated subtle dismissals, positioning. Respect is rarely loud. It's visible in patience, in attention, in presence. And now ask yourself something honest. Do you interrupt people? Do you half listen? Do you subtly compete in conversation? Because micro-disrespect doesn't just expose others. It defines where you stand in a room. The envy leak. Watch this carefully. You share good news. A promotion. A new opportunity. A personal win. Now look at their reaction. Do they light up? Or do they shrink it? Oh, that's not a big deal. Anyone could have done that. Let's see how long it lasts. You just got lucky. That's not neutrality. That's minimization. This is the envy leak. Because envy rarely attacks directly. It leaks out subtly. Through downplaying. Through sarcasm. Through forced smiles. Through quick topic changes. Celebration requires security. And insecure people struggle to witness someone else rising. Why? Because your success becomes comparison. And comparison activates fear. Fear of being behind. Fear of being less. Fear of being replaced. So instead of clapping, they compress. They shrink the moment, so they don't feel small inside it. As Reflections on Human Nature by Friedrich Nietzsche often imply, not everyone who stands beside you wants you to stand above them. Now here's the deeper layer. Envy doesn't mean they hate you. It means your growth highlights their stagnation, and that discomfort seeks relief. So watch the micro signals. Delayed congratulations. Backhanded compliments. Immediate redirection to their own story. Because genuine support feels expansive. It feels warm. It feels proud. It doesn't compete. And now ask yourself something uncomfortable. When someone around you wins, do you feel inspired or threatened? Because the envy leak reveals more about the observer than the achiever. The scarcity behavior. Let me give you a powerful test. Create distance, not drama, not conflict, just space. Reply slower. Be slightly less available. Pull your attention back, and then observe. This is the scarcity behavior, because people act differently when they think they might lose something. If they value you genuinely, they lean in calmly. If they were comfortable controlling you, they panic. Suddenly they text more, call more, act sweeter, make promises. Or sometimes they get angry, cold, accusatory, passive-aggressive. Why? Because scarcity activates fear, and fear reveals attachment style. When something feels guaranteed, people relax, sometimes too much. Effort drops, respect fades, energy declines. But when access feels uncertain, true priority shows. As observers of human dynamics like Friedrich Nietzsche explored in Understanding Power, value increases when it is not easily controlled. Now here's the deeper psychological layer. Scarcity doesn't create feelings. It exposes them. If someone only values you when they fear losing you, that's not appreciation. That's possession anxiety. And if someone remains steady, respectful, and secure, even when space exists, that's emotional maturity. So try this carefully. Step back slightly. Watch the shift. Because how someone behaves when access is uncertain tells you their real intention. And now ask yourself something honest. When someone pulls away from you, do you respond with stability or desperation? Because scarcity behavior reveals attachment strength on both sides. The projection truth. Listen carefully to what someone repeatedly accuses others of. People are so fake. Everyone lies. You can't trust anyone. They're so selfish. He's manipulative. She's insecure. Now pause. Why is that theme always on their tongue? This is the projection truth. People often accuse others of what they secretly struggle with themselves because the mind has a defense mechanism. Instead of confronting a flaw internally, it exports it externally. It's easier to point than to reflect. If someone constantly calls others dishonest, watch their relationship with truth. If someone always labels others jealous, observe their competitiveness. If someone frequently says, "People just use me," look at how they manage boundaries. Repeated accusation is rarely random. It's a psychological leak. As thinkers who examined human self-deception, like Friedrich Nietzsche, understood, humans are masters at hiding from themselves, and projection is camouflage. Here's the dangerous part. Projection feels convincing because the emotion behind it is real, but the direction is misplaced. So when you hear strong, repeated criticism from someone, don't just analyze the target. Analyze the source. Ask yourself, why does this topic trigger them so deeply? Why does it carry so much emotion? Because when accusation becomes obsession, it often becomes confession. And now ask yourself something uncomfortable. What do you criticize most in others? Because sometimes the trait you attack is the trait you fear within. The projection truth isn't just a tool to read people. It's a mirror most people avoid looking into. The body alignment clue. Words can lie, faces can pretend, but the body leaks truth. Next time you're in a conversation, don't just look at their eyes. Look at their feet. Look at their torso, because feet and torso usually point toward what someone is truly interested in. You might be talking to them, but their feet are angled toward the exit. What does that tell you? You might be mid-conversation, but their torso shifts toward someone else in the room. Where attention goes, the body follows. This is the body alignment clue. Interest pulls the body forward. Disinterest prepares it to leave. When someone feels engaged, their torso faces you directly. Their shoulders open. Their posture leans slightly in. But when they're mentally checking out, their feet rotate first, almost like their subconscious is already walking away, because the body reacts faster than the mask. As psychological observers like Friedrich Nietzsche suggested about human authenticity, instinct speaks before intention. Now here's the powerful part. You don't need to confront anyone. You don't need to accuse them. Just observe alignment. If someone's words say, "I'm listening," but their body says, "I'm leaving," believe the body. And now ask yourself something honest. When you're bored, does your body subtly shift away? Because the body alignment clue doesn't just expose attention, it reveals priority. The story editing habit. When someone tells a story, pay attention to the gaps. Not just the drama, not just the highlights, the gaps. This is the story editing habit. Everyone edits their story, but what they consistently leave out reveals more than what they exaggerate. Did they describe the conflict, but skip their role in causing it? Did they explain the failure, but avoid mentioning their mistake? Did they tell you what they did, but not what I did? Omission is protection, because leaving something out feels safer than lying, and safer lies are harder to detect. Watch for this pattern. When responsibility disappears from the narrative, when timelines feel slightly blurred, when key details are conveniently missing. As observers of human self-deception, like Friedrich Nietzsche explored, humans don't just lie to others. They edit reality to protect their identity. Here's the psychological edge. Exaggeration tries to impress. Omission tries to hide. And hiding usually signals vulnerability. So instead of confronting directly, ask gentle follow-up questions. And what happened before that? How did you respond? What did you learn from it? Watch their comfort level. Do they expand calmly? Or tighten up? Because the truth often lies in the part they skipped. And now ask yourself something uncomfortable. When you tell a story, what part do you leave out? Because the story editing habit doesn't just reveal character, it reveals self-awareness. The power dynamic test. Let me show you something most people never notice. Change your tone slightly. Lower it. Slow it down. Speak with more certainty, or suddenly become more serious. Then watch them. Do they immediately adjust? Do they soften their voice? Match your rhythm? Shift their posture? This is the power dynamic test. Because in every interaction, there's an invisible negotiation of status, and followers adapt fast, not consciously, instinctively. Their nervous system scans for authority and aligns with it. But leaders stay steady. They don't over-adjust. They don't rush to match energy. They don't seek approval through mirroring. They maintain internal calibration. As explored in Reflections on Dominance and Self-Mastery by Friedrich Nietzsche, true strength is self-contained. It doesn't fluctuate based on external tone. Now here's the deeper layer. This isn't about ego. It's about stability. If someone constantly adjusts to whoever speaks strongest, they operate from external validation. If someone stays composed regardless of shifts, they operate from internal authority. So try this carefully. In your next conversation, shift your tone slightly. Slow your speech. Hold pauses. Watch who mirrors instantly, and watch who remains grounded. Because power isn't declared, it's detected. And now ask yourself something honest. When someone speaks with certainty, do you unconsciously shrink, or do you remain centered? Because the power dynamic test reveals social confidence in real time. Every person has landmines. You just can't see them until you step near one. Bring up a sensitive topic casually. Money, commitment, loyalty, cheating, success, family, failure. Not aggressively, just lightly. Then observe. This is the emotional trigger map. Watch for the spike, sudden defensiveness, tone shift, faster speech, tight jaw, forced laugh, sharp response, strong reaction. Usually signals an unresolved issue. Because when something is healed, it doesn't explode. It stays neutral. But when something is buried, the nervous system reacts before the mind can filter it. As Reflections on Human Psychology by Friedrich Nietzsche suggest, what disturbs you often controls you. Now here's the powerful part. Triggers are maps. They point to past wounds, past betrayals, past failures, unmet desires. If someone reacts intensely to success, comparison may be their wound. If someone reacts strongly to loyalty, betrayal may be their scar. If someone reacts to money, scarcity may still live inside them. But here's the warning. Don't use this to manipulate. Use it to understand. Because knowing someone's trigger is knowing their emotional leverage. And leverage is power. Now ask yourself something honest. What topic makes you react instantly? Because your strongest reaction reveals your deepest attachment. And once you map emotional triggers, you stop being surprised by behavior. You start predicting it. The loneliness paradox. Look at the most socially dominant person in the world. Confident, charismatic, always speaking, always leading, always surrounded. Now ask yourself something deeper. Why do they need the spotlight so often? This is the loneliness paradox. Sometimes, the person who appears the most powerful socially is the most afraid of being ignored, because dominance can be a shield, attention can be validation, and validation can be survival. Watch what happens when the spotlight shifts away from them. Do they stay relaxed? Or do they interrupt to bring focus back? Do they celebrate others? Or subtly redirect the energy to themselves? Fear of invisibility creates performance, as reflections on ego and self-overcoming by Friedrich Nietzsche often circle around. The hunger for recognition can hide a fear of insignificance. Study what they fear losing: control, attention, influence, relevance, because what someone clings to reveals what they lack internally. And here's the final psychological truth. The strongest person in a room is not the one who commands attention. It's the one who doesn't need it. Silence doesn't threaten them. Being unseen doesn't destabilize them. Validation doesn't define them. Now ask yourself something honest. If no one noticed you for a while, would you still feel powerful? Because the loneliness paradox doesn't just expose social dominance. It exposes emotional dependency. Before you click away, let me ask you something. In the last video, why nobody takes you seriously, the real reason, we talked about weakness signals, over-explaining, emotional reactions, subtle insecurity leaks. But here's the question nobody asked. If those are the traits of people who get ignored, then what about the opposite? What about the people who walk into a room and the energy shifts instantly? The ones nobody interrupts, nobody tests, nobody underestimates. Not loud, not aggressive, but mentally dangerous. And dangerous doesn't mean violent. It means psychologically powerful. It means controlled, calibrated, unpredictable in the right way. Because here's the truth most people don't understand. You don't get taken seriously by talking more. You get taken seriously by becoming harder to read. So in the next video, we break down the 7 traits of mentally dangerous people. The traits that make people hesitate before disrespecting you. The traits that create silent authority. The traits that shift power without you raising your voice. And once you see these traits, you'll realize something uncomfortable. Some people already have them, and some people are pretending to. If you haven't watched Why Nobody Takes You Seriously, the real reason, watch that first, because this next level only makes sense when you understand what makes people weak. Now the real question is, are you ready to become someone others think twice about testing?